Well, hi guys, it's that time. It's our Monday story. I want to give you a personal testimony today about my health improvement as well as my increased energy level and strength, okay? If you've been watching me lately, I've been talking about how I don't really believe that it is God's very best for any of us to eat animal meat. Nor to even actually take in any animal byproducts, okay? And I know that we've been taught through the Bible that all of this stuff, guys, I get all of that. I've been taught the same stuff, right? But what I want to do is talk to you about the incredible changes that I've seen, that I started seeing within just 7 to 10 days of me becoming a whole foods, plant-based only diet in my life. Now, December 30th of 2018, I went completely what we call vegan, plant-based diet only, okay? But back in October of 2018, I discovered that from all the historical records and stuff and just tons of stuff that I've studied and researched, Jesus was actually a part of a Jewish sect of believers that were vegetarian. They did not believe in violence. They did not believe in sacrificing of animals. They didn't follow those Passover sacrifices like the Jews in Jerusalem. They were vegetarians and did not kill and eat animal meat. Okay, so I went to being a vegetarian in October of 2018. I'll stop right here and tell you, if I had it to do over again, I'd go vegan and not do the vegetarian thing for so long. I would have just been vegan right on the front end if I could go back and change that. Actually, I told somebody, well, if I had my way, I would have been born into a family that was vegan, and I wouldn't have had to learn how to be a vegan. So that would be what I would like to have done. But anyway, just a fun there. Well, so what I want to do is share with you, December the 30th, my brother calls me and says, okay, I've watched this documentary called Game Changers, and my wife and I are going vegan. Now, before this, he was giving me a little bit of a hard time because I was a vegetarian and I had cut meat out, okay, just so you know. So I said, okay, well, I tell you what, I'll go ahead and go vegan, and so will my husband, and the four of us will be vegan together, right? And we did. We are living a plant-based diet lifestyle now. Well, within a short period of time, what I found is that I lost all of my body fat. I lost 9 pounds, and I'm not even overweight, guys. Most doctors tell me, don't worry about your weight, you're perfect, okay? If I ever get weighed or anything, they're like, oh no, your weight's perfect. Okay, so, but I lost a lot of body fat. Not muscle, body fat, all the fat in my legs, on the outside, insides. And look, I love to be able to say this, baby ain't got no back fat no more, okay? I mean, I look as good, if not better, than I did when I was 40 years old, 18 years ago, okay? I'm slimmer, I'm leaner, I have a lot more energy. I believe my body is stronger now. I sleep better. I can think more clearly. I'm a little more sharp and alert. I believe that as well. It feels that way to me anyway, okay? So I wanted to give you a little bit of a testimony from just yesterday, though, okay? But before I do, let me say the reason I want to do this testimony today, okay? What if, instead of us praying for God to heal us, His own people, He actually showed us how we could walk in health from the very beginning. And I'm talking about Genesis chapter 1, verse 29. He creates us, He creates the earth, and He says, now, you eat plants, the foliage, the vegetables, and the fruits. He knows our body, what our body needs, the energy it needs, and the fuel that it gets the best use of, right? And He knows that, and if we would just go and do that, we would be giving our bodies what it was created to have in the beginning. And watch, as followers of Christ, we would be the healthiest, wellest people around, and we would set a different example on sickness, right? And instead of us, as a group, sitting around begging God to heal us over and over again and basically getting us from one mud puddle to the next mud puddle to the next mud puddle and begging for healings and miracles, what if we were the healthy ones going out and healing those who are sick, right? So what if I could talk to you and have you consider possibly thinking about doing a plant-based diet so you can see the benefit in your life, and we could all quit trying to get healed and just walk in health by living the way that God created us to live in the beginning, and by eating a non-violent, plant-based diet, right? And that's what my desire is. I love my Father, I love His creation, I love His animals, and I love you. And if I love you, I want you to be healthy. I want you to be healed if you're sick, but beyond that, I want you to walk in health, right? And we have to cooperate with our bodies and give it what it needs to be able to walk in health. Look, we're not a bunch of spoiled baby brats where we can just eat anything we want and Daddy's going to heal me. That is a horrible attitude for us to take as a body of believers, right? So let me talk to you. Yesterday, I get this text from my brother's wife, and they're headed over to Chickasaw Park. It's a state park, and we were going hiking. We left because we were losing daylight and had to come home. But we walked all these trails up and down hills and everything, okay? And we played on the playground and all of these great things. We get into the truck and head home, and I bring up the question of, well, how far do you think we walked today? Maybe a couple of miles or what? And we really weren't tired at all, so we didn't think we had walked that far. So my brother says, oh, well, she's got this app that she has, and I don't know if it's on her wrist watch or if it was her iPhone, but she pulls up that little app that she's got, right? And she says, oh, well, we walked over 5 miles. All three of us were just in shock because we were not tired and we really weren't ready to stop and come home. And did you know we weren't tired or sore when we got home? Last night I slept really well. I didn't have body aches or pains or muscle aches, none of that. Today I wake up, no muscle pains, I'm not tired, I have plenty of energy. And get this, guys, I don't walk. That's on my schedule to start actually getting more active now. But, I might walk a half a mile from down the hill to go to the mailbox and back every once in a while, once a month sometimes. So for me to be able to walk over 5 miles and none of my muscles are sore or hurting, that's pretty amazing to me. So with that said, I want to make sure I do say this as well, because people will always say, if you're a vegan, you need to make sure about your B12. Well, let me clear that up. Regardless of your diet, whether you're eating meat or just a vegetarian, or if you're vegan, plant-based only, you need to be taking B12, because we as a culture don't get B12 anymore. The B12 comes out of the dirt. There's research studies where people who were low on B12 actually ate dirt and their B12 levels leveled off. We used to be able to get B12 from just dirt that was in our water, but now it has to be purified or chemically treated. So we don't get B12 there. Chickens used to peck the ground and they got dirt, so they had some B12 in their eggs, right? And as well as the cows and stuff, when they would get eating of the grass, they got natural B12 through the dirt that was in the grass and things. But here's another way that they get B12 now. They blend in manure, yes, that's called poop into the animal food, so the animal gets the B12 now. Now, years ago, we would get some residue dirt off of the plants and vegetables and fruits that we would have, but now what we're getting is a bunch of chemicals in our body off of that, and not some B12 from the residue dirt from them being sold, either us planting our own gardens or buying it off the side of the road from a nice little farmer, right? That we've just gotten rid of all of our B12s because that. So yes, you should take a B12 supplement as well. We all should probably, because we just don't get it in our food like we did many years ago. I want to, before I close, because I don't want to do a separate teaching on Daniel chapter 1, and this is where Daniel and the three boys, let's start over. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they are taken captive through war. And what they do is they kill all the grown men, and the younger teenage men, like in the 12 to 18 or 20 years old, they keep them and make them the king's servants. So I've got that set up. What I want to do is talk to you about how the king wanted them to change their diet. Now, this is a biblical example of vegetarians. These boys were from a sect, a section or a group of believers that were strict vegetarians. Here's your proof that there are vegetarians in the Bible, and God is honoring this, so let me show you that. Okay, so they want to change their diet and give them the men's food, which included meat and wine, okay? And after 3 years, they would understand the culture, the language, and be eating the same foods. So Daniel begs the man that is overseeing, the eunuch who was overseeing and caring for them, not to make them eat the meat, the king's food. That's what meat is called in the Bible, is the king's food. The rich people, the kings, okay? So he has favor with this eunuch, and the eunuch says, okay, I'll take the meat away, and I will let you eat your vegetables like y'all have asked for 10 days. That's what Daniel said. Now, they've been vegetarians their whole life, so this ain't a fast from meat. This is a lifestyle of these particular believers. And these 4 boys were always vegetarian. And here's what he says in, let me get down here, verse 8. But Daniel resolved that he would not defile himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. And he asked the chief eunuch to allow him not to be defiled, not to defile himself. And God gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the chief of the eunuchs. There you have it. Okay, now let me keep going. I want to read this to you. Let's go down to verse, say, well, I've got time. I can slow down. And so he listened to him in the matter and tested him for 10 days. Because Daniel said, let's give us the vegetables to eat and water, and then let our appearance and the appearance of the other youth, the other men's that y'all are going to put on a meat-eating diet, and let's see accordingly who is the strongest, okay? And so the eunuch listened to him in the matter and tested them for 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, it was seen that they were better in appearance and fatter in flesh. That means stronger, though. In the actual Hebrew, it says their appearance was better and their strength was stronger. They were stronger in the flesh than all the youths who ate the king's food. So the steward took away their food and the wine, and they drank that they drank, and gave them vegetables. So he let them stay on their vegetarian diets, okay? After the 10 days, it was proved. Now, as we get to the end of this, it starts talking about verse 17. And as for these 4 youths, young men, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. And at the end of the time, the king commanded that they should be brought in before the king. And when they stood before the king, in every matter of wisdom and understanding about which the king inquired them, he found them 10 times better than all, and this says magicians and enchanters, and actually what the Hebrew says there, than all the scribes and the enchanters. That means dreamers and people who can see into the spirit realm that were in the king's kingdom. Okay, so what am I telling you here? I'm telling you, if you get on the internet and look it up, the smartest men who have ever lived, Tesla, Albert Einstein, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, just a handful of, their intelligent level was so much higher than the average person. And they were all vegetarians. You should look into that. So I wanted to talk about this because we see right here in the Bible where there are people who followed God that lived strict vegetarian lifestyles. And they were healthy and strong and very smart, wise as well. I love you. I'm going to hop off here and I'll see you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.